Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the Crypto 101 channel. My name is Brendan, and I hope all of you guys are having a great day no matter where you are from. And if you guys are new here, it's certainly great to have you. But today we need to talk about what's happening in the altcoin market because it's very quickly approaching this crucial 6-month-long support line. And if this breaks, we could see altcoins drop anywhere from around 15 to 25% across the board. Now, there's two main catalysts for this that I want to talk about in today's video. One has to do with the fundamental side of things, and then the other one has to do with the technical side of things. And don't worry, even if you're not some crypto guru or expert, you're going to be able to understand exactly what I'm talking about in today's video. I want to make it very digestible, very easy to understand, even if you are a beginner or an expert. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in with what's happening on the technical side of things first, because I think that's going to be one of the easier ones to understand here. So technically speaking, we had this really nice crypto rally at the beginning of the year. Most of us remember that around January, right after New Year's happened, pretty much the entire crypto market, whether it was Bitcoin or any altcoin, it had this really nice rally off of these cycle lows. And I want to zoom out from this. We had this nice double bottom-esque formation. And then immediately following this, everything rallied very heavily to the upside. Now, upon this rally, we saw a little bit of a retrace, and this is where the support area began for altcoins. Now, the chart that we're looking at here is called the Total 2, and all that this is the market cap of every single cryptocurrency excluding Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter if it's stable coins, it doesn't matter if it's altcoins of any kind. This is essentially every crypto excluding Bitcoin, which gives us pretty much the representation of the entire altcoin market cap. So once we saw the altcoin market bounce off of this level, the first time it had about, I think this was like a 33-ish, about a 34% move to the upside. Then a little bit later, it saw a retrace, came back down to this exact same area for the second time here. And then it went up about 24% to the upside. I want to use my measure tool to kind of show this off. So we had about a 25% move to the upside here. Then the next time we had, roughly an 11% move to the upside. And this most recent time, we saw about a 4 to 5% move to the upside. So there's a good thing and a bad thing here. The good news is that this is a very big, strong support for the altcoin market. And every time that we have touched this in the last 6 months, which we've now done 4 times, it's seen a really big move to the upside. And this is when altcoins have the highest likelihood or even the highest chance of moving up in price. The downside here is that every time that we have bounced off of this, we have seen a lower high. Essentially what this means is that the buyers are now getting weaker and the sellers are remaining equally as strong. And I say that because the sellers are remaining equally as strong here because price is going back to the same spot, and the buyers are getting weaker because every time that we rally, we are essentially going lower and lower and lower. So the first time we did 30%, the second time we did 20%, the third time we did 10%, now we're doing 5% to the upside. And so that's why buyers are essentially getting weaker, and it makes me think that we could potentially be exhausting this support line that we've been using for the last 6 months on altcoins. Now, on top of that, we also have the Total 2 now below its 20, 50, and 200-day moving averages, which isn't too ideal because this was one of those zones where it was previously resistance. While it was above it, it was support. And now they're starting to be used as resistance again. And we can see that happening very clearly right here with the rejections off of the 200, the 50, and then now off of the 20-day moving average as well right in here. So that's what these other lines are. So I don't want to get into too much of the nitty gritty with it, but the altcoin market, if it breaks here, could definitely go back down to potential cycle lows, or at least near there. And so with altcoins dropping maybe 10 to 15% on the Total 2, that could easily mean that most mainstream altcoins drop by a lot more than that, maybe 1.5 times that. So if we see the Total 2 drop by maybe 10%, that could be altcoins dropping by 15 to maybe even 20%. And the reason that that happens, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, hey, if the Total 2, the physical representation of the altcoin market drops by 10%, shouldn't that mean altcoins drop by 10%? And the answer is unfortunately no, because the Total 2, remember, has the altcoins, or the stable coins rather, factored into this. Now, if you were to take the stable coins out, you'd be right, and it would be about a 1-to-1 pairing. but it has to adjust for the weight of stablecoins. So if the total 2 drops by 10%, you'd probably see altcoins drop anywhere from maybe 15 to 20%. And that's something to take note of, maybe even a little bit more than that. But as a rough estimate, that is the zone that we're looking at here. So technically, that's why I guess altcoins are in a little bit of a danger zone here and they're playing with fire. Fundamentally, I think the catalyst that could maybe even push us over the board is looking at FTX. And I know everyone's probably sick of hearing about all the FTX FUD that's out there and sick of hearing them in the news for the last year. But we have to kind of pay attention to this because FTX is looking to offload a couple $1 billion worth of crypto. And so the other day, they were seeking regulatory, and I want to highlight this, they were seeking regulatory approval to liquidate about $3.4 billion worth of crypto assets to pay for expenses, to give it back to the people, yada, yada. We all kind of know the drill here of what FTX is trying to do. So the big question then on everyone's mind is what cryptos are at the highest risk of liquidation? What cryptos are at the biggest risk of getting sold off the worst and pretty much having the worst impact on price? So here we can see that as of the beginning of this year, January 2023, we got some pretty good understanding of what FTX was owning. So they had around $685 million in locked Solana. They had $529 million worth of FTT, $268 million in Bitcoin, $90 million in Ethereum, $67 million in Aptos. We also had $42 in Dogecoin, and then a little bit more of some other Polygon and XRP and stablecoins and other stuff like that. So now that we know what they own, there's a really cool chart that I saw on Twitter from Masari. So shout out to Masari. They were the ones who were able to create this. But what it does here is it pretty much just compares the top assets of FTX and Alameda in comparison to their most recent 7-day trading volume. So we can see the total amount of assets that we are looking at here and then pinning that against their 7-day trading volume ratios. And that kind of shows us which ones might be at the most risk of price impact if a selling does occur. So the number one on this list was Solana. And I know people probably weren't the most excited to see this because there's a lot of people out there building on Solana and holding it and excited about it. And they got hit hard from this whole FTX and Alameda thing. So what we saw is that FTX held around $720 million in Solana, at least they do right here. And in comparison to its trading ratio, that's around 81%. And then we also see Aptos coming in at second place here around 74%. So things that are less likely to see a drastic impact from the direct selling. I'm not talking about like the FUD or the, I don't know what, I think FUD has to be the right word here. The FUD that follows with this kind of news can cause a further sell-off. But the direct price impact from only FTX and Alameda selling, the highest impact ratios are going to be Solana, Aptos, and TRX. Now you also have to pay attention to things like maybe like Matic and Doge, but they're significantly less impacted than things like Solana, Aptos, even TRX. I mean, TRX is double what Matic and Doge are in terms of the price impact that all of this could have. So something to pay attention to if you are a Solana holder or an Aptos holder. It could be one of those things where, hey, maybe you want to dollar cost average lower so you can place some fishing orders that are really, really low in case a liquidation event does happen. Maybe you're a person that has a stop loss on your orders in case this stuff really goes down. That's a viable option as well. So what I want to do here is not come on here and tell you, hey, you need to do exactly this. It's not my job. I'm not your financial advisor. But I want everyone to be aware of what altcoins could be impacted and how you can potentially even capitalize on this based on your own experiences. So those are the two things that we have to watch out for altcoins and potentially a sell-off coming and maybe even altcoins falling even a little bit lower. But there is some good news as well because we just had another giant coming out from Franklin Templeton and they just filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF as well. Now, this comes in the wake of Grayscale, Fidelity, Invesco, BlackRock, you name it, a bunch of other major financial institution players all filing for their Bitcoin ETFs, and Franklin Templeton said, hey, it's our time to do this as well. And so just yesterday, they filed on top of all of the other ones that we are seeing. And while all of this was happening, we also had PayPal come out on Monday saying that they were going to be introducing off-ramps for Web3 payments. Now, earlier, they said that they were going to be introducing on-ramps, but now they're going to be adding to this by also adding off-ramps for Web3 payments. So not only is their goal to let people pretty much pay for everyday purchases and subscriptions and all that stuff in crypto, but now they're adding off-ramps. And they had a really cool article for this. Yeah, right here. So this last sentence that says, by adding off-ramps, crypto wallet users inside of the United States can convert their crypto to USD directly from their wallets into their PayPal balance so that they can now shop, send, and save, or even transfer to their bank or their debit card. And I think that's huge. That's going to get a lot of people excited. And what they're doing is they are continually easing the barrier of entry to crypto, and also not only just holding and buying and selling crypto, but actually using it for everyday purchases. And I think that that is really big. So there's a lot of stuff happening in the background of cryptocurrency. There's some good news, there's some bad news. But what all this shows me is the big institutions, the big players, they aren't worried about what's happening here in the short term. They still have increasingly more of these players that are applying for these Bitcoin ETFs. We have PayPal that's continuing to plug along and capitalize on this bear market. And they don't seem too concerned, and I'm not either. So that's where I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope that all of you did enjoy. And if you did, again, all that we ask is that you hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button, and if you want more content from me, you can check out the Crypto Analyst channel where I make one video a week over there. And if you want to get more content in general, we put out multiple videos every single week on this channel, and we also have some cool links that you can dive into with Crypt Nation as well, as well as a number of summits that are coming up in the future. So you want to stay tagged in here. You want to make sure you know what's going on. And yeah, I hope all of you did enjoy. And again, if you want more content, hit that subscribe button. But until the next video, I'll see all of you very, very soon.